Hello everyone, welcome to Psych, and this week's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to be teaching you something, I'm just going to be talking to you and asking you a question. So I wanted to talk about the idea of what would your mind, what would your psyche look like if it were a place that you could visit? Like if you could step into your own mind, what would it look like? This is something that I may have talked about in previous videos. I've posted this as a question on forums before, and I've gotten lots of different responses and answers, and I wanted to talk about some of those responses that I've gotten, how they related to like MBTI type, and how there might be common themes around how people view their own mind based on the kind of person they are. Let's get into it. So there's an infinite number of ways that you could answer a question like this, right? Because this is going to be really subjective to you as a person. But I do think there are themes that you can see when you're talking to people and their personality and their personality types and how they might answer such a question. So for example, when I posted this question like 4 or 5 years ago on Personality Cafe, some people answered, a lot of the people who were introverts or INTJs said that their mental space, how they visualize their own mind, looked very solitary to them. It was this very detailed and like high imagination place where they were usually alone. So, for example, someone said that they would be falling from the sky and landing in an open field, and there would be these towers of wondrous things around them, and they could go explore these towers. Someone said that it was like they were walking through a forest and there was these nice little secrets that they could discover, or they could just kind of walk around and interact with the animals and the trees, and it was quiet and solitary. I'll tell you about how I experience my own mind as a mental place. And then maybe afterwards you can tell me, what do you think your mental place looks like? How would you visualize your own mind? So for me, I say that my mind is kind of like this dim but dark blue and gray open space. Like there's no scenery around. It's just this blue grayish area, very dim, very dark. And there's these orbs that are floating in the air very gently. Everything's moving slowly, like there's not much movement going on. But I'm in this dark open area, there's these small orbs around, and I'm just kind of wandering through this open space. And occasionally, I stumble upon one of the orbs that is interesting to me. It's kind of got this light in it. Some of the orbs have this light, some of them don't. Some of them are very bright and some of them are very dull. So when I stumble across an orb that has light, I stop and I focus on it for a while. And I really it's like I'm looking into a crystal ball almost. And it's almost like I place my hands around these orbs and I'm taking the light from them, like taking the essence of what is within these orbs. And then after I do that, I take a little bit of this light and I move on and I search for something else. And sometimes I pull all of the light from the orbs, and sometimes I just grab a little bit and I move on. But occasionally I find that one orb that's really, really interesting to me, something that really fascinates me. And with those orbs, it's like I'm stopping and I'm obsessed with this orb, and I pull so much of the light from it that it loses its energy and it falls to the ground. And to me, that is something that I think is representative of my obsessive personality when it comes to things that interest me. And that I don't know how to take things a lot of the times in the middle when it comes to enjoying things. I mean, I'm very all or nothing. It's like I'm going to put all my energy into this or I'm going to put none of my energy into this. So a lot of the orbs that are around me in my own mental space are not interacted with ever, or they're ignored, even though maybe they are orbs that I should be interacting with. And then some of them are interacted with so much that they lose their light. They lose the thing that is interesting to them. I'd like to read to you one of the responses that an INFJ gave to contrast how myself as an INTJ thinks compared to how an INFJ might visualize their own mental space. Now, I'm not going to give a name. Also, this post is more than 5 years old, so it's probably maybe not as relevant as it would be now, but I still think it was interesting back then. So for me, as an NI user INFJ, I'm in a room full of doors, many, many doors. The room itself is really not detailed in any way and has no sense of space or structure. Each door ranges from brown to yellowish, and they're numbered, but there seems to be no order or structure to these numbers, but maybe one of the doors could decipher the number code. Most doors only open to more doors. Some doors have clues on what door to open next or which to avoid, at least for now. Some doors are just dead ends, but most have at least one other door inside, usually more. Some are full of bright lights that can be a little blinding. Some are locked, and the key, you guessed it, is behind another door. And there are some doors that are always open, even if only just a crack, and easily accessible and recognizable. Some doors have mementos or memorabilia of things I enjoy or people I know. Some doors are game rooms or concert halls, full of the music I enjoy or the ideas I like to play with. Some doors are old doors that squeak a little when I open them. The noise can get a little irritating, while other doors are brand new and have just been installed. Some doors have tigers. When I open a tiger door, I desperately run through random doors until the tiger loses my trail and finally gives up and decides to wait behind some other random door. The tiger can hide behind any type of door. A rare few doors open to a bench or a swing or a nice comfy chair to sit down in and rest. Those are nice, especially after the tiger chases. So I think that is really interesting to compare and contrast to like how my idea of my own mind looked, because you could see maybe the common theme of like you're searching for something interesting, you're searching for something to maybe obsess over. But with the INFJ, there was maybe this a desire to actually kind of interact with or maybe even understand the thing that was fascinating to them, you know, instead of maybe just going for the thing that is more of an obsession and then sticking with that before moving on to the next thing. But either way, I think it's really interesting to compare and contrast how certain personality types can visualize their own mind. When talking about other people and their mental space and their personality type, there was one personality type and theme that really stood out to me when I asked this question a few years ago, and it was the extroverted thinking dominant types. Almost every single person who was an extroverted thinking dominant type explained their mind like it was some sort of race. Like they were racing down a hill on a ski slope, or they were in a fast car and they were trying to beat other people. And it was very like competition focused, speed focused. And it's not like they were like enjoying the race in and of itself. It's like they felt like they were moving very fast and they had to be going very fast or else they were going to get caught behind other people. And you could even see that as like a representation of maybe extroverted thinking, where they feel like they have to be ahead of the crowd. They have to be like they're at the top of the competence hierarchy in whatever skill that they're interested in. And to me, that was so fascinating because it's like, wow, my mind, when I visualize it, is this very slow place. It's this very relaxed place where it's only me and no one else exists within this mental sphere for me. And then you ask other types, especially, you know, extroverted types, and they'll explain that yes, other people exist, or at least things that they care about that are closer to being representative to people exist within their mental psyche. And that was something that I think really stood out to me. Now, I don't think there's a one specific answer for each and every personality type. So I wouldn't say that if you have a fast moving mind or you feel like you have that kind of race mentality going on, then you're an ENTJ or an ESTJ. But I would say that maybe there is a correlation between what personality types are likely to experience certain types of mental landscapes when they are imagining their own mental space. So let me know down in the comment section below, how do you visualize or experience your own mind or psyche as a place? If you could visit your own mind and show someone else what that would look like, what would it look like? How would that be experienced to you? How would someone else see your mind? Let me know down in the comment section below. Other than that, I would like to remind people that I do have personality typing sessions available at my website at surpsych.com if you're interested in working with me to find out what your personality type is and what that means for you. This has been Asura from Asura Psych. Have a good one.